PMS, pregnancy, menopause. Each stage of womanhood has its unique challenges. That's why Highlands Naturals' new women's multivitamins are formulated with daily essential nutrients, plus targeted support for your life stage. PMS? Highlands has a multi for that. Pregnant and having morning sickness? That too. In the throes of menopause, we've got you covered. No matter what phase of life you're in, Highlands Naturals is here for it. Find your multi on Amazon or at highlands.com.
Breaker here. Hopefully we are, at least audio-wise, and hopefully video. This is a big experiment. I've never done live streaming before.
Hey, you know what? We're getting older and we got to keep up with technology. Otherwise, we get lost real easy.
Yeah, you learn as you burn, as they always say.
Yeah, back in ripping and burning CDs. I remember them days too.
Oh, totally. So, yeah, I learned about you just over this past week. Leanne, who manages you, had written me and gave you this little write-up. So tell the world who you are and what you've been doing all this time.
Thank you very much. I'm Gino Joubert, son of a musician. My dad was in the Jokers in New Orleans. My dad went to school with Dr. John Matt Rebenek, and Dr. John inspired my dad because he was so competitive in nature to go into a battle of the bands the following year after they had won. His band, Dr. John's band, had won the Battle of the Bands at Jesuit High School in New Orleans. So even though I didn't learn music as a kid, unfortunately, it was never really passed on to me. The gene was there, and it was just laying dormant, I guess. And so one day I sat out at a piano and I said, you know what, me and you are going to be friends. And I self-taught, and I find that I can express my soul and my view and perspective to the world better through music than anything else, although I try to be a light in my daily actions and how I interact with people as well.
Wow, Dr. John, that takes me back. I was pleasantly surprised to see Dr. John. We were up in Chattanooga years ago, and they played on the river there. And
oh yeah, Red Bank, I know that area well.
Yeah.
Just like I know your area very well.
Yeah. Love going up there. Chattanooga's about 2 hours north of where I'm at in Atlanta. So it's just such a beautiful show. Dr. John was just that was a class act.
Yeah. Well, I'll never forget it. In 1989, I was living up in New York, and I just happened to peruse through the village, and at the village gate, there he was on the marquee, and I was like, holy cow, this is crazy, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just one of a kind. So unbelievably talented. Just watching that, it was just mesmerizing. 1989 was the year I moved here to Atlanta from Cleveland, Ohio, where rock and roll was born. Came down
only
here
because you have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Ohio.
They were lucky somehow. I think the term was coined there by DJ Alan Freed, and that kind of inspired a lot of that. But yeah, a lot of good roots there. But in '89, I met Ricky Lee Jones. We did an interview. It was my day job, and she was just going on and on praising the daylights out of Dr. John. Really,
well, I'll
nice.
I'll tell you some stories the public may not know about him. Well, one, he actually did play on North Dupree Street at my Meemaw's house, let her rest in peace. But so he, the musician community in any city is really very well connected. It doesn't take long. You know, if you are of a certain level of musicianship, that you begin to meet all the players, as they say. When I was in Atlanta, it didn't take long, and I was blessed beyond measure to meet some fabulous musicians and sit in on some jam sessions that were just epic. Those were some of the best times that I can always remember in music, because it wasn't premeditated. You just felt the flow, and the next thing you know, some magic's being created, and you're like, man, too bad we wasn't recording that, you know? But that's what I love about music, is basically the best way I like to describe this is we're all like crayons in a box of crayons. Now you can go buy the little small pack that only has like 6 or 7 colors in it, or you can get the real big pack. And that's those big band productions when there's 12 musicians on the stage, when everybody's playing where they're supposed to play. That's some of the most beautiful things you will ever witness in your life, you know?
Oh, it totally is. What magic. So, where exactly did you grow up, and how did you get into all
I
of
grew
this?
up in I grew up in Laplace, Louisiana. Then I went into the Navy. Experienced a little success there with winning a battle of the bands in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. We were doing rep trade training, and luckily we pulled into port that weekend when they had the contest. But I even have a buddy of mine that I still keep in contact that plays music down in the Keys, named Pete Baldwin. And it's after that I eventually moved to Atlanta around '98 and discovered a bunch of people there and began recording with a guy named Greg Chance. And he was real big in South Georgia with the Chance Brothers band. And now his son's into music too. And I'm trying to reconnect through Facebook, but it hasn't completely happened yet. But you know how it is. You meet a lot of people and you cross a lot of paths. But so in Atlanta, I began playing with a band called the Sassafras Drifters. And we played at a lot of great venues, and one of my favorites was the Relapse Theater in Midtown Atlanta. But, you know, we played all over Athens, Alpharetta, Atlanta, you know, even into the foothills like Demarest and places like that. So we got out, and we was playing that right at the time that Zach Brown was being discovered. And so, like, Chicken Fried had already been out for 7 or 8 years, but a lot of people didn't know that till it hit the mainstream, you know.
Wow. Wow, Zach Brown. Oh my gosh. So you've been all over these parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good music coming out of this town. Yeah, I love being able to go to places like Eddie's Attic. I always give them a plug. It's just
Smith's Old Bar.
yeah.
I mean, love playing that place, you know.
Oh, totally. So you spent some time on Gitmo. I guess you got to find your muse over there somehow.
Well, let me tell you what, that was a crazy weekend because I actually got to go jump into the water and found the underwater cave, and that was so phenomenal to me. It being 19 years old, and you know, I actually was petting fish in the water, and I just thought that was the craziest thing, you know, because it was a new experience.
Oh, that's so cool. So getting into recording, what was your first recording, and do you have a big catalog out there that everybody should know
I
about?
don't have a big catalog because when I was with Sassafras in Atlanta, we actually only recorded 3 songs, and then I put out a song called Love Triangle, and everybody loved this song. In fact, it went on SoundClick.com and went to #1 in the subgenre of rock and roll out of 67,000 submissions. But the thing is that song became self-fulfilling prophecy within the band. And what happened was the band broke up because the girlfriend of the drummer ended up sleeping with the bassist, and everything fell apart. And I was devastated. I was crushed because we had such a great Southern rock root sound. And just like that, overnight, it fell apart. So I kind of went into music hibernation, as they say. I stepped away for about 10 years. And then I'd written a song back in '92 when I first started learning how to play. And I said, you know what? It's not ready for this song. And this is the song dropping today, Time for a Change. Something has held me back, but I know today it's the most ripe it could ever be for this message in this day and time.
Oh wow, yeah, we could really use it. It's just like it's one thing after another. We go through a pandemic. Now we got war. It's like and then what you've gone through down over the many years in Louisiana with the hurricanes and the way the climate has changed on it. I'm sure you could speak a lot to that and what you've gone through in Louisiana.
Oh yeah, the thing about it most is I like not to reflect on things that are so much tumultuous, or what some people like to term as negative, because where my heart is if we can quickly push away things that don't always feel like peaches and rainbows, then we can maybe be better in coming together with unity, because when a hurricane or something of that nature happens, you see real quick everything that they say on the news is false, because people come together in a blink of an eye and helping each other out. So we're not these mean monsters out there that everything's portrayed. We live in fear, because fear and love can never meet. They're two different energetic planes. Fear is low and love is high, Yeah. So going through the hurricane, it was just like survival mode. Everything was tougher than usual, but you get through it. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you have gratitude for what you do have. Then it doesn't matter. You're going to get through just about everything. I had a car wreck last Sunday, and I'm juggling 2 jobs, releasing a song, and now dealing with going see doctors and all of that. It's like, if I have one more fall, hey, I'm coming down. I can't juggle anymore.
There's a song in that somehow. Oh my gosh. That's the thing. Even if somebody hits you at like 15 miles per hour, it's still a jolt. I don't know how I don't go into cardiac arrest. Even if somebody just like bumps me. Oh my God. I drove by a wreck the other day, and like the whole front of this minivan was smashed. I'm like, this is just devastating. I can't even imagine, because they're going so fast.
Right.
It's so crazy. Well, better health for you. I mean, my gosh.
Yeah, but hey, here's the thing. What I would like to do is, we have a war going on right now with Russia and Ukraine, and if this is not carefully attended to, then this could turn into World War III. And very few people realize that, it seems. Looking at the pulse on social media, looking at the pulse on Facebook and whatnot, it doesn't look like other catastrophes that have happened where you see so much support, outcry, and so it's kind of boggling my mind to just see that in progression, real time,
Yeah. It's just like we hadn't seen anything like this in a while. We've had conflicts all the time, but just like this is in real time now, with a real devastating thing happening in Ukraine. It's just beyond heartbreaking, definitely.
So my biggest inspiration for this song is, and I think this is the message that I would love to put out to the world, is that...
Well, shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Change in my life has been dramatic. Anyone that has known me for 30+ years or longer, they can see the evolution in me, and that I was a troubled youngster. I had a lot of things that I had to work out, figure out, but nobody gave me those answers. I had to find them. Changed my way of thinking, which also changed my beliefs, which also changed what I meant to manifest in life.
Yeah, totally. It's just, it's unbelievable what you learn as you're getting older and all the things you go through, and then this can come together in song. So Time for a Change, when was the catalyst, when did that seed get planted in its evolution and the songwriting for that?
So I wrote it in 92. In fact, in one of
Are we back? It looks like we have dropped out here for a second, but hopefully we will be back. We are doing this live as we're coming along. Hopefully he'll come back on in here. I will fill the gap as we are going along, since this is in real time. This is Gino Joubert from Louisiana, and wrote a new song called Time for a Change, and we hope to play that video here in a few moments. And you know how technical difficulties go these days. It's always something with these kind of live streams. Are we back?
Yeah, we're
I was
back
filling the
on
gap here.
I saw that. Nice job. Good recovery. You know, if somebody messes up while you're playing live, you just got to keep going. You can't stop, you know.
Yeah, you just don't stop unless, you know, somebody's shooting or something. Reminds me of the old Blues Brothers movie.
Exactly that. That might be the sense, but
You know, they're throwing the bottles at the chicken wire. Yeah, we tend to get a little glitchy.
You know? Let me ask you something if you don't mind.
Yes.
And the beautiful trails that you have in and around you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, totally. It's really
I
nice.
miss the Chattahoochee, and I miss Panther Creek up in the Chattahoochee National Forest. That is an amazing place.
Yeah, the Chattahoochee kind of winds around near my house over here, and so I have a lot of deer. There's like a 127-acre preserve, even though we're in suburban Atlanta. I'm like right by the hooch over here, so yeah, they're doing a lot of things to try to preserve things around here. A lot of nice trails, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But to get back to your earlier question, so when the cusp of this idea began, I began working on me. And I said, you know what, change begins here. I can't fix the world if I can't fix me. So when I stopped complaining about everything, being the victim, and became accountable, taking the necessary steps for growth, maturation, I said, well, if I could invent the most perfect world, what would it be? And then that's when the words started coming down. It was like there was a connection to something other than myself. You can call it God, source, whatever, universe. And that connection was a beautiful thing, because then the words just came right out, and the piano melody came right out, and it was like I wrote it in no time. It was probably 15 minutes I wrote the song.
Yeah, some of the best songs can be done just quickly on the fly if you're not overthinking it. Somewhere written on paper napkins.
Exactly.
Like, wow, this is genius. It reminds me of Dustin Hoffman challenged Paul McCartney to write a song, and it became Picasso's last words. He just wrote it on a napkin. And one of the later tracks on Band on the Run back in the early 70s. So, yeah. It's really amazing. So, the recording of this, there's a little story there, too, with how you put this together in Louisiana.
Yeah, so Jack Neely plays with the Molly Ringwalds. He has two different studios, one in Covington and one in New Orleans. So I went to Jack. Well, actually, this is crazy. So and it didn't work. First time, the piano, not keyboard. So there is a huge difference in the intonation and the. So. And I started for piano and said, like, everyone makes a spot. I could keep it that's all out in there. And with all people will come together.
Yeah, getting a little bit of break up there about the story of how this has come together. But we'll definitely try to recover from that as well. Sometimes these internet hookups don't work as well as we had planned. So yeah, definitely recording in the New Orleans area is quite legendary for a lot of people who perform there. And again, I mentioned Paul McCartney. He recorded Venus and Mars back in, they released the album in 1975, and he really got into the whole New Orleans sound. In fact, if you listen to Venus and Mars, there's a little intro to the single "Listen to What the Man Said," saying, "Hey, how about some time in New Orleans?" So yeah, there's a huge, rich musical history there in New Orleans, and there's so many people like Gino who really enjoy tapping into the music and becoming inspired. Yeah, we had a little bit of a break up there as you were talking about, putting together and recording the new song "Time for a Change," which we hope to play here within a second. Hopefully we can share this with the audience. I have the song loaded up here. And
okay.
Are you back there?
Yeah, can you see me?
Yeah, I could see you're still, which is fine. We're
Okay.
doing this on the fly.
Okay. Do you want me to finish that story, or do you want to go to playing the song?
Let's play the song, and then maybe you could tell a story about how this came together.
Sure,
it's a beautiful music video. Let's see. I'm going to try to do a little screen share here. And let's try to do this. Let's try to do that again. It's like we're doing a webinar here. Wow. There you go.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Wow.
There's actually going to be a different edit than that at the very end.
Yeah.
So I kind of, I don't know, I just believe in divine inspiration. And there's been 2 edits to that song as far as the video goes, but it makes it more time appropriate with the war in Ukraine and also the overall flow. So basically, when it's released here at another 35 minutes, it'll be released onto YouTube. Then what'll happen is it will be a first-time view for everyone but this is a good way to get the initial concept out to everyone, you know.
Yeah, wow. And so putting that video together, who was your director and how did you choose all those images, or that person did?
So that's a great question, Rob. When I hear a song, besides hearing the different accompaniment of musical instruments, a lot of times we'll see a video forming along with the song in my head. So what I'll do is I will write down what those images are, and then later on I can come back to that and say, okay, when we get to this scene, this is what has to be portrayed. When we get to this part of the song and these lyrics, this is what has to be portrayed. So if you don't mind, from your perspective, what did you gain from seeing that video clip along with the words? What's the message to you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like everything was just put in a blender and basically saying, hey, you know, I think it's about really coming together and saying, you know, we're really all in this one fight. And, you know, everything from what you're showing the image of, you know, sexism, racism, all the way through war. It's like, you know, we're all humans at the end of the day and need to really just, you know, be in the fight together and instead of, you know, balkanizing and putting up divisions, seeing what we have in common.
Well, I appreciate that. That means I did my job properly because
Yeah.
that is what the song is all about.
Yeah, yeah. And we need to have more conversations like this. And just so important to, and to mix it into music. I think it really can hit people more on a visceral level. So, you know, it definitely very emotional. I love the guitar work. It's really just, you know, it hits, you know, those nerves, those feelings.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, coming together with, we kind of got lost on the whole thing about recording it. You have a very interesting, you're wearing the shirt, you have an interesting backing vocalist from the legendary band Pink Floyd.
Well, they were my inspiration. They're probably my all-time favorite group. Probably, without a question, the best concert I ever saw in my life was 1988, Philadelphia. And that was the second to last stop on that tour when they came out with Momentary Lapse of Reason. And Durga McBroom was actually on stage. She was the second person to sing Great Gig in the Sky. Clara Torrey had originally done it in the studio back in Abbey Road, but Rachel Fury was the first one to do that part, which it's such a beautiful acapella that they do on that song. And it's one of the few songs that the keyboardist Rick Wright had written for Pink Floyd as well. So when Durga has so much soul and expression that I can identify with, I said I have to have her. Well, most people, their train of thinking is, well, I don't know that person. There's no way I'd be able to. In my old way of thinking, that would have been how I would have processed that. My new way of thinking is, okay, I need this piece. I'm going to get this piece. And this is the education behind how we make a change in the world by changing our own perspectives and belief constructs, you know?
Yeah. Well, what a talent that you've included into the song. When you think of Pink Floyd, I mean, the backing vocalists are there and gives everything such a rich tone, but you don't think about who you Pink Floyd. You might know about Rick Wright, David Gilmour, Roger Waters, if you're really into music, but it's really the name of the band. So those guys, I think, could walk around any day because they don't have those household names. But the backing vocalists really give that another dimension. So that definitely helps, and it definitely sets them apart. It's a great addition to this track, Time for a Change.
Thank you very much. Well, let me give you this is the biggest storyline of this whole song. So in November, I got called up to go work a very special project in Edinburgh, Indiana. We were working at Camp Atterbury. And in working this camp, this is when I knew when I got done with doing this job, I said, okay, we're going back doing Time for a Change. Because this was it was an epiphany. I walked into the room, there was over 200 workers. And we had to serve the Afghani refugees. 4,600 people we were feeding in the beginning when I first got there, 3 meals a day. Okay. When I got in, there was a watchdog group called KBR, and everybody that was workers like myself was scared of KBR. The Afghan refugees were scared because they've just been displaced. They have nothing, right?
Wow.
And I was like, holy cow, I can't stay in this environment. One of two things has to happen. Either I'm going to change the energy in this room, or I have to leave. But the money was phenomenal. But that was my mindset. Well, I started smiling to everyone. I started lifting those up around me. It wasn't about me. It's about y'all. So when they started having more confidence, felt a little more comfortable, the whole room changed. And it was so beautiful. It was so impactful. It made such a huge difference and mark on my life that will never be forgotten, to the point that they started coming into the line to be fed, and they would start waving at it. So it went from this to that, and to know that it was like, wow, one person can make a difference. And I was so taken aback by that profound discovery that I knew, wow, okay, maybe I can make a difference in this world, you know? And that's where wait, there's one other part. So this one little kid, his name was Ahmad. So I learned a couple of words like Makbulasti, which means you are beautiful in Farsi, right? And so I started saying that to everybody along with the smiles and along with this hand image. And between a culmination of all those actions, I put the word love, which is a verb, into action. And it made a difference.
Wow.
So this little kid, Hazam, he comes through when he finds out we're about to leave and be out of the project. And he brings me a little motorbike. And it's brand new. And I know they don't have hardly much of anything, right? And he gives it to me. And I'm like, no, Hazam, I cannot take that from you. He says, no, you take. And I was like, man, that's your motorbike, man. I can't take your motorbike. And then a voice told me, do not deny that kid the power of gifting. That's going to be his reward. And I was so moved in that moment in time. And I said, wow. So I took it and I gave him a hug. And immediately I said, universe, God, whoever, I said, bless this kid. He's going to be phenomenal, and he's going to have a great life. And, like, that's life-changing for me, you know?
Oh.
And it's just, that's living. That when you have that feeling that you can share with other people, yeah, we're all people.
Yeah, it's just amazing. You know, you feel that amalgam between Kansas Yes and Pink Floyd in this song. And it's just, you know, for people, you know, it doesn't have to be a certain age, but, you know, what I grew up with, it blends it all together. And it's so familiar that way. So putting this together, I think we missed this. Who was your producer and your instrumentalist?
Jack Mealy was the producer. He played guitar, but my first selection for guitar was a guy from Germany I found, because I'm always listening to other musicians, and I thought this guy was phenomenal, and he is. But a lot of people don't understand about musicians is you could have a talent of playing guitar, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can create your own riffs. You can duplicate anybody's riff out there, but creating your own may be a stumbling block. You may be a musician where you can hear something one time and be able to play it. There's so many different levels of musicianship, right? And it just didn't work out. So I said, Jack, I have to hand the baton to you. And Jack, within a day, he came back, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I heard. Like, I didn't even tell him. So that's how magical that was. Then Alan Maxwell, a lot of people consider him one of the best bass players in Louisiana, and it's all subjective, you know, there's just different styles. But Charlie Wooten's another good bassist whom I may have brought in on my next project. We talked right before he went to play the show in Atlanta for Mardi Gras, so there's a good chance that me and Charlie are going to collaborate and revive Love Triangle and make it fresh, you know. So that will be the next song coming. On drums is Doug Ballot, and Doug is just such a great studio drummer because he doesn't overplay, but it's like every stick, every note is just it pops, you know. So I knew once all those pieces were put together, it was gonna create something beautiful. And I sit back and I still like, wow, I can't believe I did that, you know. So it's an amazing feeling.
Oh, it is. It totally is. So how did you trade files? Like so many people through the pandemic have been recording songs, and it's so much easier now just to send files across the seas. Your vocalist, yeah.
I went into the studio in New Orleans, and it was me, Doug, and Alan and Jack. Now Jack did all the engineering, so he laid his guitars after the fact. Durga, she did hers remotely, just like you're saying. So we sent her the tracks. She laid her parts. She sent them back. Jack mixed it down, and then when he sent me the first mix down, I was like, "Wow, this is something else, man." He did a great job mixing it down. And you know, as you notice, I'm always giving credit to the other crayons. It's not, "Hey, look at me, what I did," because that's society. That's a broken system that everybody says, let's have normal. What is normal? It's broken. Let's create a normal that's not broken, where we can truly, like the good old days when we were kids, we can remember having a ton of friends where we played outside and we did all these activities, and there was unity, there was a bond, there was strength. We had each other's back. And slowly, that was chipped away at by design so that we could be better controlled. And I don't like control, because freedom is actually something that we all should cherish and hopefully stand for.
So Mardi Gras back in New Orleans, this is 2022. How's that vibe been feeling? This just happened. You just celebrated Fat Tuesday the other day.
You know, it's funny is I got around some people, and I was like, you know what? I'm just not feeling it this year. Because, of course, I'm in the middle of this project. And I was like, I have work to do. I right now, I can play later. But I was just so focused on because there were so many things that not only did I have to pay for the project and those musicians and the time and engineering and so forth and so on, videography, but I also had to make sure that I'm coordinating, just like an expediter in a restaurant. Everything has to timely come together. Can't have the video coming out a month later, you know. And so there's just so many working parts that are happening at the same time that I had to keep attention to detail to, you know.
Yeah. And then those vocals are just like amazing. I just like how you hitting those notes are just like, you know. I remember seeing Kansas years ago. It reminded me of the lead singer of Kansas, and it's just magic watching somebody be able to bring such beauty out in vocals. It's just like, what is the technique for somebody like that to do that?
Okay, I don't know if this is going to be graded from somebody from Berkeley or Juilliard, but I'll say this. All I can say is I sing from the heart and from my soul. And so whatever comes out is me exposing myself and being completely vulnerable. Now, somebody else, they may have all the vocal training in the world, and they go about it a whole different way. I'm not sure. But I sing what I feel.
Yeah, there's a real vulnerability about singing. It's true. Maybe, I don't know, because you get so judged just doing the act of it. And this is long before American Idol, but where they were really making people feel self-conscious. It's just, yeah, you're doing it from your gut, and gosh, hitting that diaphragm and getting those notes. It's just amazing.
So here's a little funny tidbit. So to finish the story earlier, I said, Jack, we got a problem. He said, what? This is so comical. I said, dude, the allergies are killing me. I said, my voice sounds like sandpaper. This is Tuesday the 8th, the day before February 9th, where we went in and recorded. And so he says, what do you want to do? I said, Jack, I don't know. I said, we're going to record everything, maybe minus vocals. Maybe I can save an hour and come back some other time. But it's me, I got to think like a chess player. I can't play checkers here because there's so many moving parts. And I said, I got to know I have a contingency plan, you know. So he said, yeah, don't worry. If you only use, you know, if you save an hour and you can come back in later, okay, great. So I go in. Doug Belot's sitting behind the drums. I'd never met Doug before. And so after I laid my piano tracks and keyboard track, I said, you ready for me to do a scratch vocal? And he said, yeah. And so I just pretended there was 50,000 people in front of me and let it rip. And when I did, as soon as I got done, Doug had never heard the song before, obviously, and he goes, I think those aren't scratch vocals. I said, I think you're right.
Sometimes they're the best is when you hit it that first time. It's just better sometimes spontaneously rather than sitting there overthinking. It's like then you become more self-conscious.
Right.
So when did you first feel like you really knew how to sing and play the instruments?
I would say probably back around 99. I actually flew out to LA and performed before American Idol. There was something called the annual Taxi Road Rally. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but so I went with Great Chance and flew out there, and believe it or not, they called me first. So I opened up the show, and I wasn't expecting that at all. In fact, I didn't even think I'd get a chance to be called because so many musicians are there, and not everybody will get a chance to perform live. You know, there's library pitch panels and other panels, songwriters pitch panel, and they kind of give you industry notes of what to expect and what you're going to go through and all that kind of stuff. And but at that moment, I think I began to have a little confidence in myself and to both sing and play.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's just going through school. Did you do talent contests, stuff like that, play gigs as you were?
No, because I was a late bloomer. Most people start music in school. And if I could go back and change time, I would.
Yeah.
But I didn't really sit down I might have hit a note here or there. Once in a blue moon, somebody had a piano, whatever. But as far as like any type of regimen of practicing or learning or anything like that, that didn't happen until I was 22. And how I did that was, I used to always tell myself, well, I don't own a piano, so I'll never learn how to play. Well, that was my reality for years. And I started dating a girl that was real big in the theater at the time, and she was doing a play that they was doing their rehearsals at Tulane University. And so she says, well, look, while I'm going rehearse, if you want, because you've been talking about wanting to learn to play piano, there's the piano rooms right next to where I'm going to be. Why don't you just go sit down there while I'm rehearsing? I said, great idea. So I'm sitting down at a Steinway, and I'm going, wow, this is the Steinway, you know? Yeah. And sure enough, in 2 weeks' time, I was playing Catch by Memory with both hands, and that left hand is doing an arpeggio. And I was like, holy cow, we're friends.
How neat is that? That's so cool.
Yeah.
So how much did you do through the Navy? How long were you in the Navy?
3 years. I was on a ship called the USS Saipan, and we were pretty much in Philadelphia and dry docks for about 3/4 of my stint in the Navy. And then as soon as we got done with that, that's why we had to go to Cuba. We were off the coast of Cuba doing what they call retray training, and that's to make sure that the ship is seaworthy. So you got to run all these tests, and I worked on the flight deck, and there was long hours. And after that, long hours, we'd still go practice music and, you know, get ready for this contest and all that. So it's a love, it's a passion.
Oh, absolutely it is. So getting back to live performing, what does the future look for you as you forge ahead?
That's a good question. I was playing on Frenchman in New Orleans up until COVID. And then when they shut everything down with COVID, I stopped playing live, with the exception of a couple things like some sessions online, sessions live. But I'm actually in communication right now with 2 different promoters, and we wanted to wait till the release of this, then start drawing up a plan. And one of the promoters has a couple of places in the Midwest that are, she says, that would be ideal for you. So all of that's right now in the planning stages. And as soon as that's released, I'll definitely let everyone know.
Great. Well, best wishes to you and everything going forward. And hope to see you in New Orleans soon. It's been a while since I've been there. I actually visited there in, I believe, 2004. This was a good year and a half before Katrina. And Convention and Visitors Bureau was ever so gracious. They treated me to a night at Galatoire's. And,
that's a lucky experience.
Oh, my Lord. I don't think I ever ate better than that. Wow, that cuisine. Visit New Orleans, everybody. Even I see this many years later. I did some travel writing on the side. So, and one of those trips was New Orleans, and was just love Bourbon Street, and then the outlying areas too. Just beautiful place.
Well, I tell you what, you couldn't have picked. I mean, between that and Commander's Palace, they're probably 2 of the biggest places you can eat in New Orleans. And I used to be in the food industry in my younger days, and so I have a little background in that as well.
Yeah, what a great place. You know, the music, the culture, the food. It's just, you know, and such a gift to the world.
That's my version of the New Orleans Trinity. If you have good music, good food, and good friends, when you put all 3 together, that's a recipe for success.
Totally is. Totally is. Well, thank you for your time. Best wishes. The new single is out. Time for a change. And,
thank you so much.
Hope that gets a lot of play, not only in your part of the world, but everywhere. So we could all use it.
Yeah, well, one last thing. WWOZ in New Orleans will air this starting Sunday night. So that's March 6th, between 10 and 12 p.m. Dwayne Williams reviewed it and gave me excellent reviews. So he's going to pitch it to his program director as well, to where it'll go on the main rotation. So I'm working a couple angles too. I think the ripple effect will take care of itself. So all we got to do now is just let it go and let the world receive the message.
Great. And if anybody didn't see it, I'm not sure if my website is actually refreshing and able to show this right now. I know I've been on Spreaker here. Hopefully people hit that. I will try to have this episode up soon. Where can we find you on the nets? You're on all the socials, I guess.
Yeah. If you Google Gino Joubert, it will show, like, from the music perspective, it'll even bring up stuff from Sassafras Drifters. But also, but all the major platforms the music is out on. Well, actually, it gets released at 7 p.m. tonight, Central Time. So Spotify, Pandora, iHeart, going down the list, all of them. It's going to be on all of them.
Awesome. Best wishes. Great speaking with you.
Man, thank you so much for having me on your show, Robert. I really appreciate you.
Take care, and hope to hear more from you in the future.
Hey, God bless my friend.
Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.